The Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
The Stock of the Day. And it's all about AI and data centers these days, isn't it? With the latest being NextDC partnering with OpenAI. So OpenAI will become the major customer of the $7 billion data center built in Sydney's Eastern Creek, which will be the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, the data center will be used to run the AI models of OpenAI's Australian corporate clients, including the CBA. So with that in mind, we're asking our panel about the stocks to play the AI data center thematic. So perhaps a little bit of a compare and contrast, and then a buy, hold, sell with NextDC and Macquarie Technology Group. Luke, I'll start with you.
Yeah, look, I mean, in general, the actual data centers themselves, I've put them in the too hard basket. I see a lot of investors, and I think quite rightly, point to these big capex booms we've had in the past, be it, take it back decades ago with railways and things like that, but even the telecom boom back around the 2000s. And inevitably what happens is these companies will overbuild, predicting these huge uptakes, and then just the economics just don't quite come in behind it. And look, it's really hard to know where we are in that cycle. But nonetheless, it is full steam ahead. NextDC was out, when was that? 1st of December. Upgrading their capex guidance. They and not just them, everybody is ploughing ahead with more and more capital expenditures in the space, more and more data centers. I saw someone make an interesting point on Twitter a few days ago, and it was basically going back, I think it was 3 years ago, and looking at what FY25 estimates were back then. And the estimate was for NextDC to do 340 mil EBITDA. They came in with 225. And the point being is that it is hard to model out the economics of these businesses, and should there be more caution with how much capital is being deployed? So I sort of haven't, as I said, the really capital intensive guys, I've put them in the too hard basket. The way I've played the AI data center thematic, and probably fell into this a little bit backwards, Nadine, but has actually been through the electrical contractors, the service providers to those guys. They don't have to stump up the same levels of capital, but they completely benefit from these big projects and things like that. So we've owned SKS Technologies in the fund for a few years, and they recently announced $130 million
You've done well
data
out of that
center.
then, haven't you?
Well, we have, and it's been a real step change for the business. These rollouts of the big data centers, and I would rather be these guys who are getting that uplift, but they're not having to fork out this capital themselves, own these assets, and then ultimately, where we wait and see what happens is can you drive the utilization through them? So that's how I play it. But nonetheless, I mean, it's really hard because when you've got the Magnificent Seven generating as much cash as they do, and every time those CEOs jump on a call, they basically call it an arms race.
Yeah.
You can't stop it.
NextDC versus Macquarie, you're going to abstain from this one, or would you prefer one over the
I
other?
would probably prefer Macquarie, only because they give you the data center exposure, but I think there's also some nice IT managed services. I know the old telco business is sort of in decline. There's good cash flow coming out of that. I think you've got a defensive earnings stream from the other parts of the business, and then the upside of the data centers as well. Also, they generally focus more on the interestingly enough, I know NextDC's out with an announcement today, but the Aussie sovereign data centers, I think, has been a nice point of difference for Macquarie tapping into that Aussie government space. So I would prefer Macquarie, but I would proceed with caution in the more capital intensive side of it.
Got it. Does that sort of ring true with you, Richard, or not?
Oh, definitely. I mean, some of our best stocks, I've talked about them a lot on this program because, we've talked a lot on this program. But, SXE, SRG, GNG, these
Southern Cross
Electrical, GR Engineering, SRG Global. Yeah. These are stocks that have built the performance of our dividend funds. People say they're cyclical earnings, and they are, but they're a lot less cyclical than you would think because these guys won the arms race back in the day when all these contractors went out of business. These guys were the ones left standing. What I would say, I completely agree with what Luke was saying before. NextDC, it's it's like the ultimate field of dreams, isn't it? Build it and they'll come. It's like Kevin Costner's at the helm, swinging the bat. Or was he a pitcher? I've never seen the film, but I know the concept, and I see it all too often in this game where people just build stuff and people buy it, and people like we're going to talk about some stocks today where they literally raised $100 million. I don't know how it's going to pay itself off, but like what I like about Macquarie Technology is that I've invested in them before and it's paid off, and $10, and everyone said no. You know, this is too scary, like Perpetual sold out, providing a buying opportunity. These are classic private investor type vehicles. You need to have a lot of patience because the CapEx is huge. But honestly, I think with that services element, they've got the free cash flow that is funding some of the CapEx, so they don't need to raise as much money as NextDC.
Okay, so that's a Macquarie being the preference, but I don't think that was a ringing buy for them. But you did get some ideas of other stocks to play this AI data center thematic. So there you go. That is your stock of the day. Stocks, plural, of the day.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.